And all I'm hearing, blah, 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 is I don't want Football Manager to look and play like a console game. Yet people apparently want it to look like a console game. Stig, discuss.
I'm being politically correct, I suppose, just so I don't burn too many bridges on my 15 seconds of fame.
You're either desperate for this like incredible match engine that's going to require a brand new laptop, a gaming PC, and a bit of investment, or a text-based game that can run on a typewriter.
Why not both? Like, you know, why can't you have both? You could have a peanut butter sandwich,
though, like,
you could have a jam sandwich, or you could have a PB&J sandwich.
See, my worry is, I know like everyone has a worry or whatever it is, but my thing is,
if
it looks too good, I'm now skeptical about the management side of things.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the FM show. I am your host Tony Jameson, joined as always by the tactical mastermind himself, RDF Tactics aka Arron Falloon. Also joined by a resurgent Si Maggio, no longer red injured, he's definitely orange injured now. He is definitely returning close to full fitness, and we have a special guest joining us for the first time. Everyone say hello to FM Console. Stig, how are you, pal? Are you well?
I am well. I suppose this week I've turned into the Hock Tour guy of FM. I don't know what else to say about Console.
Just for the viewers, this is the third time we've recorded that bit, so it has lost a little bit of its sting.
Not for me, I'm dying.
Aaron's dying.
And still, for the third time, we've insisted on keeping it in, and I don't understand.
Every time you say it, it just reminds me of the last time we said it. Basically,
unfortunately,
people,
it got heavily derailed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you listen to the original takes, then definitely sign up to Patreon, patreon.com/the FM show. Pod.
Too hot for TV, too hot for podcasts. That's what it was.
There you go. Yeah, we're now doing outtakes as part of the Patreon. I love that.
Jerry.
Why have I brought you here today to the show? Well, I need to explain something to you. So congratulations, Stig. You've managed to get us demonetized quicker than I normally do. So that's impressive. It's not me that derails this show, but I feel as though I'm going to be the sensible one today, which is never a thing that's ever been said before. But no, a pleasure to have you in. Describe how you feel as though you would be the Hock Tour person of the FM community, but well, presumably people know what we're on about. The flavour of the month, shall we say?
And get my 15 seconds of fame, I think.
That did not help.
Oh gosh. So yeah, I've done a video. Obviously, the FM25 announcements have been out, and I think, let's be honest, if you look on YouTube, everyone's basically complaining. In the nicest possible way. There's a lot of whinging about it.
Not the nicest possible way, in a factual way. Very factual way.
I'm being politically correct, I suppose, just so I don't burn too many bridges on my 15 seconds of fame. but what happened was, I'm an auditor, that's my job. So I always go, what the hell does that mean when someone tells me something? And I look into it. And I looked at the Steam store. There's nothing there at all on console. And I was like, I've got to do a video. I can either go through all the screenshots, which Si on Twitter berated me on a few things, saying, "No, I've already seen it. That's fine. That's not console. That's not console." And me and him had a bit of beef talking about that back and forth. And I saw volumetric player animations, and I went, well, that sounds posh. That's got to be something. I mean, they can't chuck out on the Steam store and miss it out on the announcement, for God's sake. We didn't see anything on the announcement video. So I went into a rabbit hole on YouTube, and I think I came out a bit crazed, I think is the only way to describe it. A bit mad scientist. My hair was receding. I was going white a bit at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I re-recorded this video. The last video I did had 200 views. So you can imagine how many people I thought was going to actually end up watching me talk about FM25 announcements. And all of a sudden now, overnight, I think it's on 15,000 views, I think, as we record now.
And going up every time we click it. I don't understand. There's a link somewhere, but every time I click it, it goes up one more. So it's it's brilliant, man. Genuinely, it's fantastic. We'll give a bit of backstory first of all to people maybe who don't know who you are, because you are one of the newer creators in the space in this FM YouTube and streaming situations. Obviously focused very heavily on Football Manager console, because hence the moniker. This video has come out and it has banged. It's absolutely banged. And I'll be honest, I still don't understand it. But I've watched it and it's great. But it's gone over my head. So do you want to try and break it down into simple forms for people who maybe don't quite get volumetric player animations?
I'll try. Like I said, I started doing the video at 10 o'clock and finished at 3 o'clock. So, 6-7 records afterwards. I think I've got it down to a bit of a T. So basically, I've been playing Football Manager since Championship Manager 2. I've been playing it since I was 9 years old. I'm 40 next year. And I've seen the 2D engine, I've seen the 3D engine, and we've seen all the bugs and everything like that. And then this volumetric player animation, I went into YouTube, had a Google of it, and there's loads of stuff. There's stuff like UFC fighters, golf playing, for the sports coverage on Sky Sports and stuff. And I started looking, I was going, well, what does it mean in sports games? And the thing that came up, which I didn't know, because I just thought the name meant version 5, was Hypermotion V in EAFC 24. And I think it got really ignored, I suppose, or overlooked last year because of the EAFC announcement. But they literally go, Hypermotion V is volumetric data informing our Frostbite engine. And I was like, holy shit, that's what Football Manager's talking about. Now, you're not going to have the Frostbite engine because that's probably what FIFA's 70 gigabytes. It's huge, isn't it? So you're not going to have that.
Yeah.
And they're talking 11, 12 gigabytes for Football Manager, possibly, with an improved match engine, or game graphics at least. So I was like, well, what does that mean? And when you look at it, basically, 5 years ago, Manchester City bought this technology, which is 38 5K cameras dotted around the Etihad. Anfield's got it, Emirates have got it, and they said 6 stadiums in La Liga have got it. And when you then have a look at the La Liga highlights, what it does is, say you've got a highlight at the penalty 6-yard box for a free kick, I think was one I found. It will then go to a completely different angle on shot and change it 150 degrees. So it goes from one angle to another angle for the goal. So it's mad how they've got this thing in and no one's really picked it up. And then what's happened is, with a bit more of a deep dive, FIFA Pro, who obviously have the licensing and the Players Union, actually have put a statement out about volumetric data. So it's not actually anything to do with SI or EA Sports. This is owned by the players and FIFA Pro and the clubs. So obviously we're talking now EAFC allowing them to have the Premier League licence. Is there something along the lines, we don't know yet because we haven't got anything on the announcement video, telling us they're now sharing that license so that they can get access to real life data. And they say it's action from real life matches. And the idea from this animation type thing is that it captures the actual animation of the player running. So EAFC was showing Haaland actually running. So it looks more lifelike because it looks more like TV because it's actual match data informing their match engine. It's not going to look like EAFC. I have to keep saying that. I'm not saying it's going to look like EAFC, but it might play more like an actual match does. So instead of going, oh, that looks like a normal, random pass, or the goalkeeper's doing something stupid on a dive, maybe we get better player animations. And that's basically what I was saying. What if we get better player animations? Match engine might still be buggy. Let's be honest. There might still be exploits. But if the players look better and they can fix that match engine as it goes along, a lot of people who are at the moment in time bemoaning it and whinging it overlooked this really key technical term which no one understood. And all it was a Google. It was just actually looking into it. And EAFC did a great explainer showing exactly what it is. It's on Twitter. And you just go into it and it explains what they do, how they inform the Frostbite engine. I keep saying Bifrost as if it's full. But yeah, it's that type of thing. There's loads of information out there when you actually get through that first cover. So it'll be interesting to see how Football Manager now roll that out. I hope I don't put too much pressure on them now because, well, we got women's football next week and everyone's going to go,
Come on,
where's the
FM,
match engine?
I need to see Haaland.
Yeah, I mean, where we are at the minute, so like all that is incredible, right? It's absolutely incredible. I can see Aaron's eyes are already lit up because he's obviously working this out, going, okay, you know, I get to see my actual players, I get to see the elbows out. He gets to see the exact angle that it hits the woodwork, so he can get really angry about it, right? Like, is that where your mind's going to, Aaron? Are you instantly going like, oh my god, imagine this because everyone's getting angry that they've not seen nothing at the minute? So
no, my thing is more so, I think it happened to me with FIFA. It's so like, is it like, so when someone turns into your stream, automatic, like straight away, it's difficult to differentiate. Like, is that a game or is it like for a minute you're like, is that real football sort of thing? And it's because of it's not just the animations of the player, it's just the way the camera's moving along with the game as well. And it's just like, yeah, the presentation of it, and it's just like, I wonder if that's like all on the same line, and I wonder if FM could ever get to that point where, of course, you're not going to be sitting there for 5 minutes like, is that a real game? But it's just that split moment where you're looking, you're like, and you just have to double check it like, it's Football Manager, it's Football Manager sort of thing, yeah. But if it can get to that stage where for a split second, you're thinking, is that real football? I think that would be a very good, because it's always like, so I think for Football Manager players, the loyal players, they don't actually care about that sort of thing. Like, I'll be honest, I don't really care if it looks like a real game or not. Like, it'll be pretty cool to show off about it and be like, oh look, Football Manager has moved along. But when I'm actually playing a game, I don't care. Like, I use 2D as well. I use only commentary for some cup games or whatever it is. Like, I don't really care how it looks. It's more about the actual gameplay. But for those newcomers now, because I'm pretty sure Football Manager are at a stage, as a company as well, SI, want to broad out to the larger audience, and especially younger audience. If I go to my YouTube channel and I tell you the age of the people that are watching my videos, I mean, there's not young people at all. It's all people my age and a little bit older than me, which kind of baffles me. They're actually coming to me for information. But yeah, so if they can branch out to the younger guys, the game has to look presentable. It has to look good, I guess. It's just one of the things that we get, right? If a FIFA person watches me play, is that first off, it's what is this game? And it doesn't look good or whatever. Like a little slag comment, because FIFA obviously looks one way and Football Manager looks another way. Obviously, until they play it, they're like, it's actually a good game. But still, what sticks with them because of their age group and the era they come from, it doesn't look good, sort of thing. So, and like for me, that's the difference between FIFA. Sorry, going on a little tangent, but FIFA and PES or eFootball now, it's one game just looks better. That's the reason why people play it. It's not so much the actual gameplay, because I prefer eFootball, but if I'm playing football for reality, I'm going to pick eFootball or EAFC because it looks better.
Well,
so I think
that was going to be my point. Sorry to just jump in there. That was going to be my point. And you've kind of like almost sort of affirmed what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know what your view is of this, but for me, I'm like Stig, you know, I'm like yourselves. Like, I've played this game since it came out, like in the first incarnation, right? So I was raised on commentary, text only, like everything. I've had to build the visuals up in my head. Like, I've said time and time again, almost until I'm blue in the face right now, but I'm the wrong demographic. I don't care. I'm like Aaron, I don't care how it looks. Like, there's not a single point. Like, people go on saying, oh, you know, we haven't seen the match engine. For me, I'm not really bothered. Like, because what would happen if they showed us the match engine and it looked incredible and it looked so slick and stunning and it looked like real football, but it played awful? What would you rather have? A game that plays really well and the match engine maybe isn't fantastic, or something that looks fantastic, doesn't quite work? Because I'm going to say to you, you know what? Tetris is incredible and it looks so basic. Right?
Minecraft.
Oh, you haven't played Tetris Effect. You should play Tetris Effect. Tetris Effect is beautiful. It's like one of the highest rated games. It's a recent game. It's really high rated. It is just Tetris, but it is like effects, sparkles, everything. You know, a bit of glitter. It looks fantastic. Honestly, go try Tetris Effect. Especially, it's even better on VR. It's like immersive, amazing. Yeah, you got to try that. Anyway, to answer your question, why not both? Like, you know. Why can't you have both? You could have a peanut butter sandwich,
like,
you could have a jam sandwich, or you could have a PB&J sandwich.
Well, we've already got people, and I've had a couple of people in Discord this week the specs. Aaron, sorry, we'll come to you in a second. Then Stig will get you next, right? The minimum specs have come out for what FM25 is going to be, and we know Football Manager isn't a heavy game to go in terms of like modern games. I think Stig, I think you said there yourself, like FIFA's looking about 70 gig install. We're talking 20 gig install for FM25, and already people are going, "Oh my god, my 6-year-old laptop isn't going to be able to run this." Like, and you can't have one or the other. Like, you're either desperate for this like incredible match engine that's going to require a brand new laptop, a gaming PC, and a bit of investment, or a text-based game that can run on a typewriter. Like, Aaron,
why?
Back me up here, right?
Yeah, see, my worry is, I know like everyone has a worry or whatever it is, but my thing is,
the W word already.
If it looks too good, I'm now skeptical about the management side of things. Like, you know me, I'm tactical, so the technical side of things, like you say, the gameplay, right? Like, if I'm using an inverted wing back, like, I need him to do I don't want it to look good on the match. I need him to do what I'm asking him to do, and that needs to play out. That's the gameplay. That's what Football Manager is about. The graphics is secondary. Like, it is secondary. Oh wow, it will look pretty cool if I can see it happening, but it needs to happen. That's like that's the first thing. Like, when you're setting your tactics and your instructions, like, that needs to play out first, and then the graphics come second. So I'm just like, obviously, we don't want a game, like you say, like, it's all good if it's all flashy, but what happens if all these things that you're doing is just redundant? It's just showing you a game of beautiful football, but, like, what you're doing and all this other stuff isn't really having that much of an import in the gameplay. So, yeah, that's my thing. I just want the game to be good from a Football Manager point of view, where what we do now, we create tactics and we're using certain roles and using certain instructions to get a certain result on the match engine sort of thing. So that's all I want, is that. That's all I want. If it looks like it's actual real football, then brilliant. But yeah, obviously you can't cater for... I mean, if they can hit that, then you are catering for both, right? The loyal Football Manager fans are still going to love the game, and then you've got people that, oh wow, this game looks good, but what I'm doing is actually having an effect as well. If they can get that under, then spot on. But for me, like, that's why the graphics come secondary, because first, it's about what I'm doing in the game. That's what really matters.
Okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
it's nice, sorry.
I'm going to come to you, Stig. I'm about to put the cat amongst the pigeons right now, right? and justify why you're here, okay? Now, because what I'm hearing at this point, okay, our instant comparison point to Football Manager's graphical content, not the match engine, two very, very separate things, right? The visual representation that we're comparing between Football Manager and EAFC. Where does EAFC predominantly live? It lives in a console environment. And all I'm hearing, blah, 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 is I don't want Football Manager to look and play like a console game. Yet people apparently want it to look like a console game. Stig, discuss.
Well, this is the thing, right? I have played, like I said, CM2 with David Platt and Paul Ince out in Italy, and you can't get Gaza to join you because he wants to stay in Italy. And I've gone all the way through, and then in FM22, I had a Mac. And I had a Mac that was 10 years old, and I was like, right, I'm going to move house. I got to convince my missus to let me buy a massive PC, because they literally announced the FM25 announcement. Mm-hmm. And I went, great, let's do that then. And I went, shit, I need a new TV. I've got to pay for a TV. She's not going to let me have a new TV and a £1,500 PC. So I went, okay, I can get a cheaper TV and maybe a PS5. So that's why I banded in. So basically, it was this. And then I heard it was coming to PS5. Do you remember what happened to FM23 console on PS5?
No. I remember
It didn't turn up. It didn't turn up for 3 months.
Yes.
So do you know how I played FM console? You're going to love this. I played it through my TV. Because I had a Samsung TV. You can play through Samsung TV on the Xbox Games Pass through your telly. So for the first 2 months, I played through my TV, and I just bought a £15 controller. So the whole under the hood, what we're talking about, core part of the game, everything that is tactically there, was on my TV. I didn't even need I didn't even need the console. I just spent £500, so I was like, I'll just play Red Dead Redemption and all that type of stuff. So yeah, for the first 2 months, I actually played it on Xbox Game Pass. And then when it came out on PS5, I gotta be honest, it wasn't very good. I'm going to say this now. FM23 console coming from FM22, it was hard. It was really, you have to forget a lot. And this is why I think people don't realise with FM24. If you've been conditionalised playing it for 20, 30 years, you know everything how to play it basically. But if you're brand new to it, it is like a rabbit in the headlights. I'm trying to play Crusader Kings. I still can't figure out how to play that game. I always want to do it, but I never understand how to play it. And there's nothing on YouTube for it. And there probably is, but I just haven't found the right creator yet. And it's the same thing with FM. When you do it, you've got all these people doing PC content. And I remember having a chat with Si going, I think I want to be a content creator on console. But I don't know how to do it. And then Si, God bless him, I created a Reddit. So we got a Reddit for FM console for people just to come and say, how the hell do I play this game? And then Si, well, you created, how many videos did you create, Si? You created like an entire army of videos, didn't you, of how to play the basics. And
at the tail end of 23, I did a little guide,
Yeah.
which pretty much rolls over into 24.
Yeah.
I think there's just the couple of new elements that they've changed. But
yeah, but it was like 20-odd thousand people have watched those videos, aren't they? It's like, there's obviously a market for it, but it's just, there wasn't enough. Like, I know Delujo does his first look video, for example. Sorry, I know I'm going off piece here. But that was like 60,000 people looking at it. So there is people who want to play console and learn how to play
100%.
it. But it's that thing of, and I'll be honest with you, the graphical toasters, people may have to make the same decision I did. You may have to actually go to console. And the console dynamics, we're talking brand new EAFC players, yeah, but you've got the people who have gone away from Football Manager, looked at what the beast of Football Manager is now, and gone, oh my God, I can't get into this. I need something where I can just pick it up, enjoy playing it, put it back down so my missus isn't killing me because I go and look after the kids and put them in the bath or something. Like, you know, you get a large dynamic of lots of different types of people who have either gone away and come back and are just not able to get in it. And I'll be honest, when we're trying to, I'm going to try and convince you now, Tone, but you can't give a pre-match team talk. You can't rally the troops.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You're like going, what do you mean I've just started the game? I haven't told them I haven't fired up the Serbian wonder kid, for God's sake. You know?
This is part of it. So probably a couple of months ago, we did an episode on FM Mobile. I'd never played it before. Arron had never played it before. Si had played it, and we talked about it and we had a look at it. And I'm very conscious as well to confirm and to say, look, for definite, look, you know, that it's a different game. It's not, some people refer to it as a stripped down game or it's like FM Lite. It's not, it's its own game with its own rules and its own universe and its own style. Like, you know, it's not, we can't then call the PC version full fat FM. It's not. There's still a heck of a lot of data in the console and it's put together in a, what I understand from what I've seen, quite a manageable and sensible, logical way, because FM can be a little bit... There's a lot of stuff here that I don't really necessarily think I know, but I've been conditioned to believe that I need all this stuff. Si, do you want to do the honours? Should we pull the curtain and
Sure.
We'll have a little nosy at it. There's a dog in the background that's confirming that definitely console needs to be considered. For a second.
But I was going to say, just on the market thing, though, because I have to apologise to a lot of my viewers because, so throughout the year, people are like, oh, why are you doing a mobile version of the tactic, I'm like, mate, I am not downloading, or I've had FM mobile on my phone, but I am not creating a tactic during the season on FM mobile. Oh, what are people doing? But this was constantly in my comments, and it just hit me when you mentioned that there's an audience for it. This is what they're talking about. They're talking about this game because you can literally quite easily replicate it. The issue is they can't download the tactic. So they kept saying like, oh, show me every player. Like they need to see every player instruction stuff so they can actually replicate it. But I didn't realise this is what they were talking about. Oh, I'm so dumb. The pennies just dropped. The pennies just dropped. I'm so dumb. Oh my God.
You get your tactics. Yeah, because they just want to see the player instructions, right? Like
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh my God.
Because you got to set it a different way on this. You can't just download or import them or whatever. You can add them all, obviously.
Yeah, because like I did a tactic video because we got to 500 subs on my channel. I was like, oh, let's do a tactic video. I didn't have a clue how
Yeah.
to do a tactic video because I'm in a load of Discords with other people and they've told me how they do it. And RDF's a goat, let's be honest. I can't do anything like what he does. And I was like, you know what? Go on FM Arena and just say, this is the best 4-2-4 tiki-taka on FM Arena.
Yeah.
Give it a go. Erling Haaland scored 67 goals in console, for God's sake. It obviously does work like the PC does. And then all I did was create everything into a PDF with all the instructions, so then people could then go off and take it, because then you can open it up. You got to remember, these aren't on your TV, they aren't on a laptop, they're probably on their phone, so it's got to be readable for them to be able to go zoom in, yes, I need that, yes, I need that, yes, I need that. And then you've got people going like, oh, wouldn't you like to export data or console? I just like to be able to share tactics or, basic things for people to like share save files, do challenges, and it's all ring fenced because obviously Sony and Microsoft don't let people edit it that much. So it's a little bit tricky, but I am going to try and convince you.
Yeah.
Although it looks like size American for some reason, club head
I
coach.
tell you what, let's go back. Let's go back to that home screen first of all, Si.
Sure.
When we get load the game
I just
up
say
there.
that I'm playing it. So Stig was on about playing this on his TV. I do have this on. I could download this, but I am playing this on just in my web browser. This is literally in Chrome.
Wow.
I could load this up on my phone as well.
Yeah, so this is obviously the main menu, and then similar to the full fat version, as people will say, it's got
Don't
some
call
of the
it
game
that.
mode. As people will say. So you got
Football
Creator
Manager
Club.
PC.
Well, you can get this on PC, and it comes with the PC skin if you play it on PC.
Yeah.
As
So
well. That's the
this
weird
is
thing.
also going to be an episode for me to be like, see, this should have been in there, because I keep doing that every week. I've been like, I take something from FM Touch and I'll be like, this should have been in the full version. So there's challenge, right? And this is where, and it's kind of a very mobile-y game mode, right? So it's challenge, and you've got different challenges, and it tells you the difficulty and how long it would actually do you as well. It would take you to do the challenge. But in my head, I'm like, especially in the end of game cycles when everyone's like, oh, I want to play Football Manager, but I don't want to start a save. And this is like literally the perfect time to be doing challenges. Like you could start a thing where you're just like in a relegation battle and you've got to work your way up. And here as well, you can change the difficulty. So I'm guessing, like if you're doing a relegation battle, it's going to put you with even less points than when it will be on normal or on easy. And if you're doing an injury one, maybe more players are injured or star players are injured, that sort of thing. You got the top division underdogs as well.
I was going to say, yeah, for audio listeners, Aaron, call some of these out as to what we've got, and then just explain where we are, because these are all great. You're right, for a save idea midway through a game cycle, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so if we go to the first challenge on the... So the first one is the Saviour Cometh. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cometh. Your team are in a relegation battle halfway through the season, and you can take over the reins and guide them to safety. Like, that's a fantastic challenge for people. The next one is Injury Crisis. Your team is swamped with injury problems, leading to most of your first team players being on the treatment table. Can you meet the Bulls' expectations in the league? I love that challenge, or the sound of it, I should say. The Invincibles, come on, you Gunners, can you do the Arsene Wenger? You've gone on a long run without defeat. Can you cement your place in history by going the full season unbeaten? That sounds amazing. Unrest at home. Your appointment as head coach has left some senior players unhappy. How would you handle the locker room? And see, that could actually be a very good start for some teams. So, like, if your team begins a game, like, I would say, can I use Man United as an example where at the start of the season, because they had not the best last season, start of the season, the morale is kind of dipped. And if you're a new manager now and you've got low qualifications, again, in Football Manager, I feel that could have been replicated. So when you're doing it at the start, setting up your thing and you've got qualifications, you've got pro, no one's going to question you. But if you're starting at Manchester United with national A license, I think the supporters, they did introduce the supporter element to the game. Then they should be asking questions at your board and yourself. I think that should have been more of an effect in the full version. The next one is...
Or if you're a fan of the rival club and you've taken charge, that's going to upset a lot of people as well.
Yes, that should be like literally your first day. That should be in your inbox, and it should be something for you. Again, that can make the thing more engaging. In what is that? The media conversations that can make it more engaging. It's like the first day is like, well, your fans are not happy, blah blah blah. Yeah. And the next challenge is top division underdog. Your side will be immediately promoted to the top division in their country. How will you fare as a huge underdog? And then the last challenge is financial storm. Your club is in financial peril. Can you maintain competitiveness on the field while reducing the club's debt and payroll off it? Again, that just sounds like it might not even have to be a challenge. It could just be how you start your save, right? Like, you want to be Arsenal, but you don't want the riches. So the game just makes you start broke, and then you have to sell the likes of Saka, Erdegaard, Martinelli to raise cash. And that could just be a starting point into your actual long-term save. But those are the challenges in FM Touch that is available on console, mobile through Apple Arcade. The last one is... What's the last?
No, it's just those console.
Just those,
just those Apple Arcade.
To be fair,
it sounds like,
Switch. Well,
it sounds like perfect things to put in the Discord for us, because we keep getting asked, like for community challenges and save ideas. You're right, those sorts of things. Stig, like, I mean, I don't know how many of these you've played yourself, but they do sound like quite good if you've only got a certain amount of time and you just want something that's fairly quick. You don't know what save you want, or you just want something a bit fresh. It's a great way just to have a little go at something a bit different, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to put the FM25 klaxon on everyone here. It's being taken out next year. It's not going to be in the 25.
Yeah.
But I have done, for example, I've done the relegated because I used to do this when I used to play PC. I tried doing Burnley on hard. You had 8 points. So you start halfway through December with 8 points. Everyone's got 15 points ahead of you. If you go on easy, you've got 13, and there's about 10 points ahead. So if you did everything, God knows what the 6 point deduction on that as well. It's probably even harder. But yeah, you can do that one. I've done, and this was hard as well, Wrexham. Take Wrexham as they are now and just chuck them straight in the Premier League. So you go take like League 2 players and then try and play them. You can't simulate because obviously you got to play every single match on the challenge. So it was literally just playing. I actually beat Spurs. I was quite surprised we actually beat Spurs. But you get like £30 million.
It's not surprising, is it?
Then.
Spurs. Very typical of Spurs.
But yeah, it was doable. It was just one of those. It's hardcore. Some of them are real hardcore.
Well, I quite like it though, because it's got that inbuilt difficulty level, and lots of people have said that FM's too easy, and that there is different ways to make the game harder, and then some people say, well, you shouldn't have to make the game harder, but I do feel as though that there should be some element of additional difficulty level in FM, and I think this is a really nice way of doing it, to go, as Stig said there, you can start on 8 points, 15 points, or 20 points. What's going to be easier? I love the fact you've gone straight to Bordeaux, which is of course difficulty level.
Yeah, I did the financial storm, and I thought, let's load up Bordeaux.
We're not playing a Bordeaux for Tony, are we?
Storm.
I
wanted to show a bit more, but we've come to this screen, which we're going to have to explain very shortly, because this is not in PC, and it's very, very cool.
Again, for the audio listeners' site, what is the screen we're looking at?
It is called Principles, a set of standards that the players need to uphold day to day. You can change your principles without incurring any penalties whenever you join a new club. But if you change them during the season, it comes at a penalty. So if you can't just keep flipping your club's principles. And this plays into the squad dynamics and the squad balance. And there's other stuff that happens. You have to get buy-in from your players. You have to get your players to buy into your principles. So you say, we want to be a healthy vegan club, ban ketchup. You can do that. I mean, it's a bit more basic to the options than that, but you have to get you can't just say that and your players do it. You need to convince them that that's the way that the club is going to go forwards.
And the buy-ins is really key, because actually when you do this principle, if you take over Man City, Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, all those go, why have we appointed you as a manager? Straight away, your buy-in is smashed. Why have we replaced Pep Guardiola with nobody? And you have to convince them. And I did the tactic, like I was saying earlier, with Haaland scoring 67, and he went all the way up because he was happy. Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, because they weren't getting goals, because they weren't playing well, they didn't buy in at all to the principles. And then you had players like Kyle Walker, he'd be annoyed if we lost a game. Like, how dare you draw 3 over Spurs? We conceded 3 goals. That, defensive performances actually affect buy-ins as well. It's really, I know they've got, obviously, the hard workers, the taskmasters. What's those other ones when you can choose what type of manager you are?
Leaders.
Yeah, those type of things, And that affects your management, the management attributes. But we don't have that in console. This is literally what they've developed, and I think it's a better system. It's just making it the next level. They've got to go that next part of player interactions then. Which you do have, but just not to the same level.
Let's talk through it then, Stig, right? So take us through it, because, again, for audio listeners, I'm looking at this, okay? And I think visually this looks a lot cleaner than that manager attribute that you get in PC, where you've got the tactician, the motivator, the thinker, and you've got you can decide what attributes you want. Because let's face it, that system is open to abuse, right? This, I actually like that. This looks quite nice for me. Like, so Stig, talk us through the options that we've got. We've got what we've got there, like 10 different principles, and you can pick up to 3. Is that right?
Yeah, so you get 10 principles, but typical FM, it doesn't tell you the impact of that decision. So I spent probably for the first 2 weeks on FM24, I actually contacted the head of console, going, can you send anything to us about what the principles mean? And I said, we'll get back to you. They never did. So I've sent the link. We'll put the link in the description we were saying earlier on it. I've actually created this calculator. So basically, you choose the 10. So you've got dedication, respect, perfectionism, intelligence, consistency, resilience, adaptability, leadership, expressionism, and teamwork. Now, each one of them, and we haven't got to this point yet, because this is not explaining typical of FM, it doesn't tell you what this actually impacts. There are 4 mindsets for all your players, right? This decision will impact based on the mindset of a team you don't know the mindsets of. So you're going in completely blind, going, I want to do this. I want teamwork, expressionism, leadership, for example. Go in, they go, what the bloody hell are you talking about? We don't buy into that.
I love this.
So you go in completely blind. So what happens then is you're stuck with these principles till November. So if you've cocked up your choice, you're there till November. You've got to convince them that your principles match them. If you're dominated by, and it is, let me get these right now, so you'll have to help me out because off the top of my head I've got it wrong. Hard workers, thinkers, leaders, and relaxed, right? Now let me tell you, I've tried looking at this, there is not a defined, it's not by hidden attributes, right? So hard workers are think about Heung-min Son. Really hard workers, high work rate, but other things are high, but work rate dominates it. Thinkers are Kevin De Bruyne. Players are basically the vision, it looks like it's the vision side of things. You're relaxed, but even not, it's Arron Haaland, where they are literally confident. The only way I can explain it, and it's a video I've shelved, because I've had to test it to try and get as much data out as I can. They're just, Grealish, Haaland, they just are composed. They know what they're doing and they're confident, so they're relaxed. And then you've got, what's the one I'm missing?
Leaders,
yeah. So on this one, it's Kyle Walker, because leadership outranks everything else. So if you've got a good, bear in mind, I looked at the FM database, there is no born leader, but leadership is like the king of all layer one. So if they've got good leadership, you'll have a couple of them, and that all buys in. So when you choose a wrong dynamic, if you're not suiting the dynamic to this mindset, which audio listeners can't see, it's a pie chart, and it's basically 20 players in Manchester City. We've got the dynamics to say, team leader, highly influential, and others like you do on the PC side of things. But then this mindset turns into a pie chart, and if you drop down into that little, box below SI, again, for audio listeners, this is great. This is a lot of words. You've got the squad mindset effect. But it doesn't tell you this when you take over a club. If you go unemployed, it still doesn't tell you. It only tells you when you take over a club.
Right. Now, this is brilliant. Okay? I'm already on this, okay? Because Si and Arron back me up on this. I've said this for a long time, that when you go into a club, you should have your own philosophy and your own personality, and you shouldn't instantly, A, know everything about the players that you're about to manage, and B, it shouldn't click straight away, right? We've said before, if you go into a top club and you've got a low rep, it should be harder. Like, your style should potentially jar with the club. We've seen this before, managers walking in, they've just put their personality on, and it just doesn't work. They could be a great manager, but it's the wrong fit. Like, Arron, you're nodding away already. This, I like this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'll just wait my turn, because we've been saying this for a whole 3 months, that something like this should be a feature And then I'm sorry, like people would have seen me on my phone. I wasn't I was literally looking for a tweet.
He's playing.
No, I was looking for a tweet that I had that FM Console actually replied to as well. One of them when I was showing off like the FM Touch on the mobile. But Paul over at View from the Touchline, he did put something. What would you add in FM26? And then I said historical data because I like going back to previous seasons. But I also said introduce managers' principles, like the screenshot below, which I'm showing you the principle thing as well. Yeah. And that, I think for me, that I don't understand the attributes. And when you're creating a manager in the full fat version, I mean, I do understand the attributes because I've been playing it for a very long time. But people that are playing the game aren't going to understand where to put these points. Like, if I'm putting everything on attacking, what does that mean? Am I attacking coach? Like, do people view me as attacking, or like, what does that mean? And then on the right side, you've got the mental things as well. And again, similar to what you say in that typical football manager fashion, it doesn't actually tell you what it affects. I mean, you can hover over it and it gives you like a little explanation, but it doesn't exactly tell you what it affects, that level of discipline. We are always told that get coaches with good level of discipline, but when you hover over yourself, it never mentions anything about training. So you're like, is level of discipline a separate thing for myself and coaches, or is it the same attribute? Is it affecting the same things, or is it like you know what I mean? So yeah, I think this should be introduced into Football Manager because it makes your manager a person, if that makes sense. Like you've actually got a personality, and the buy-ins as well. Like I didn't know about the buy-in, so I didn't know about buy-ins, but I didn't know that like Haaland scoring many goals, his buy-in thing is full. But then because Foden and Kevin and KDB aren't really performing, they're not really buying into you. Which again,
they won't actually renew contracts. So if you're
see, that's how I was just
the buy-in. So if you go to unlock trade site, it goes from engaged all the way to they're never leaving the club. But the problem you got then is when you got a guy that you want to sell because he's like 29, you're not getting him out the club because he wants to stay.
But that makes saves more. I don't want to say realistic, but it makes it more unique, more fresher each time you play the game. It's not always, I'm going to sell this player, I'm going to buy that player, and I'm going to do this. Like, your saves are always going to be different. And I think it's always a good thing, right? Like, you don't want to play Football Manager knowing what you're going to do. Or even you don't want to play Football Manager signing the same player each time because... Or maybe you do want to do that, but you don't want to sign the same wonder kid and you're getting the same results every single time. Like, you want things to be different. And you want, KDB's left in this game, but KDB's not leaving in the other save at all because he's completely bought into someone's principles. But in this save, he's not buying, he's available in this save. I can get him in the save. And that's what I think, like, that sort of stuff can be introduced. I understand the attraction of always buying the same wonder kids, and I don't think Football Manager should lose that, but they should make it more, just more unique. The experience, I should say, make the experience of these players more unique. 1 minute they buy in, next minute they aren't.
It makes it more immersive.
Yeah, it makes it more immersive. I mean, just there. I should have just said that from the beginning.
And it almost gives you a rationale as well as to how you become a player's favoured personnel as well, because there seems to be no rhyme or reason as to why that is. Like, you could become someone's favourite personnel just because you've given them an international cap, obviously not an FM25, but, you know, you could do that. Or also, as you say, Arron, like, let's use Mo Salah, for example, right? Didn't work at Liverpool, right? But at Chelsea, sorry, but 100% bought in at Liverpool. Like, that different manager gets a different tune out of the same player, and you're right, it gives it that individual flair that's it. Yeah, every single save
I think
should be different because it's everyone's individual universe, isn't it?
That's what I was getting at. Yeah, your manager's personality should be able to unlock a player's full potential or not unlock of the player's full potential, if that makes sense. Like, it shouldn't just be game time in training. Like, it should also be your personality. That is what I was getting at. Thank you, Tony. Yeah.
And Si, this screen you've got here, you've just literally clicked on it perfectly to change it. A lot of people might now be sitting and screaming at the thing, going, yeah, but look, it looks too simple, it looks too basic. Now, the initial principle screen, I think, is beautiful. It's really nice, it's clean, it's flat, and it's great, okay? Now, what you could do, if you wanted more information in the PC version, when you click onto this screen here, this buy-in and this dynamics for the squad with the pie chart, all you got to do is change the graphical element. The information's still the same. You just present it in a slightly different way. It's not any more stripped down than the PC version. They've just found a nicer, cleaner way to present it. Do you agree, Si?
Well, I mean, what we got coming in the PC version next year, tiles and cards, I would argue tile, card, tile, card.
Isn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
Click on Erling Haaland, don't go to his profile, opens a card for him, closes it again.
It's true. But what is bugging me right now about seeing this screen, and it's really annoying me, or compared to the FM25, is this looks perfect. Like, there's the right amount of information on the screen. For some reason, with FM25 screenshots, what's bugging me is the dead space is still there.
Yeah, but go look at the. Everyone who said that though, I said go look at FM now and look at the dead space in your screen, and I bet it's just that it's all in the top left corner because you got the bar down one side, you got the bar across, you got your inbox, and then anything that's not a message in your inbox.
Yeah,
there is like half your screen is blank, but you're just not focusing on that bottom right hand half of your screen unless there's a button down there. I guarantee most of the screen in PC is also blank. That's the bit it doesn't show you when you start up, that mindset affinity. Which is kind of interesting because it will show you how it changes matching those mindsets as you go. So I wish it showed you that as you start. You can also see if you change it, it does affect your principles. Interestingly, if you press the suggest button, like I'm just pressing it, it's a randomizer. It doesn't. It's not really suggesting. It's not being like this would be good for Man City, which is also kind of annoying. And like I didn't know. So I didn't. I was like I didn't really know what this was doing, and I was trying to get the console, the achievements on console. And one of the achievements is for gaining a well-oiled machine squad. So you want a squad that's like really working well together, which is this one here, right? Somewhere. This one, well-oiled machine, okay? Which is probably the best one. You don't want dominant because dominant means like everyone is going in one direction, but it might not be a good direction, right? But this one is like everyone's in full flow and there are no negative effects. So I needed to get to that, but I didn't know what that was, and I didn't know that was behind. This, you just have to click that little card there, and it was hidden. And I was like, "Wait, what's this stuff?" I didn't know this.
Is that a tile?
And I was on Twitch going, click the box on the left 10 minutes later. You go, what box?
Like, that's just like a positive and negative report. That's all that is. Why is that going to tell me anything?
And there is
and it's like, oh right, hang on.
Yeah, and
there's this whole balances bonus.
Yeah,
and I get a bonus if I get my team too balanced. I didn't know that. Well, if I, and then the hierarchy and stuff, you get this nice little, you get these nice graphical representations. I mean, this is in PC. This bit, the hierarchy, right?
Yeah,
you get this in PC.
Yeah, but the hierarchy, like this looks. I'm pushing it and saying it just looks more understandable. I was gonna say better, but
I think
the
they
one on
can merge
PC is
the
pretty
two.
good now.
I think the PC one I like, and I think this might. I can see why people might think that this is presented slightly simplistically. The information is exactly the same, so I think they could
I'm lying. Yeah, I take that back. I take that back.
Right, like I may not do that pie chart there. I may do a slightly different graphic. That hierarchy, I quite like the squad dynamic hierarchy we've got.
Yeah, I was gonna say I lied.
In the main game, but I love the idea of this principles, and I also love as well, Si, was that you were saying there that you can click your principles at the start, but you change them when you're there, and I love the fact that. They're your principles from the start. You shouldn't know what impact that's going to have, and that's the bit that I really like. Because
so you like it that way around?
I love it. I love it.
But would you not want to know like what your team is like? You want to know that like Erling Haaland is he's relaxed now.
So I wouldn't want to know what the team's like.
I don't want to know on day one. Yeah. I don't want to know on day one. I want to learn that when I get through the door, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna battle with a couple of players.
That's
so
part
maybe
of the
it needs
game,
to let
right?
you change it sooner, right? Sorry, Aaron.
No, that's just part of the game, right? That's game, like a game. Like if you're open up, I don't know, Assassin's Creed or whatever, like things need to happen that you don't know what's going to happen, and you have to find a way to solve it. That's part of the game. Like do you know what I mean?
We call this the greatest choose your own adventure game.
Yeah.
Adds to that so much more than do you want to be a tactician and motivator.
See, that's what I think. Like as Foot Manager is now, so you do set the world, which I think is okay, but I think you have so much, like you can basically just set the perfect world for yourself, basically. Yeah. And you can know things, you're seeing things that you shouldn't really necessarily see straight away, and you don't have to learn things, I should say. Like things are there right in front of your face. You can set whatever you want, like your manager's profile. You can put 20 attacking, 20, all of this sort of stuff right from the beginning. So you're just basically setting up a perfect world for yourself. Whereas this way is like, this is my personality. And then you're waiting for the game to give you your team. Then, because you don't know, all those people, all those things random. Every time I start with Manchester City, is like KDB always a leader or whatever it is.
Yeah, he's always thinker because it's the attributes. The key. There's two things which testing has found. When every player has it. So if you loaded an FM23 save, every player gets assigned a mindset. That happens. But also all your wonder kids are. And the key thing to know about all your youngsters are, their mindsets will change because of their attributes. So as they develop, they may become a thinker and then turn into a hard worker because work rate's gone up. It's completely different. Like Messi will always be a relaxed, for example. It seems to be Mbappe, Haaland, Messi are relaxed, driven individuals when you combine it with personality. They are always the same because of the attributes. The ones that change is obviously when you bring your youngsters through. As they develop, the mindsets can actually change because I've looked at that. And you can have a 15-year-old being like a relaxed, like, oh, cracking, he could be a great wonder kid. He's turned into a hard worker the next minute, or he's gone into a thinker. He doesn't fit into your dynamics. And the other thing to notice is you can cock this up really easy. If you sell a player or buy a player and get the wrong mindset in and you've got dominant, it could throw it all back out because you've brought the wrong mindset in. You can do your own player search, but you can also screw up it once you've got a good team. And you go, I'm going to break this team up. I'm going to bring in a load of wonder kids. Boom, there goes your dynamics. All your bonuses of how we've been working go straight out the window, and you just make it harder for yourself again. It resets the game. You got to rebuild your mindsets.
I like that because again, I think the personalities just don't. For me, I might be wrong, but I don't think that the personalities make enough of a difference. Like, yeah, you've got a fickle player, you've got a light-hearted player, a jovial player, like. Yeah, they're nice to have in the dressing room, but they don't seem to have too much of an effect. A mercenary player doesn't really have a major effect. Like, I just think that something like this, it does add a bit more sense of realism to what's going on, you know?
It means something. Yeah, like people's it means like, it just feels like personalities in this game, in mobile, in the FM Touch, just means a lot. Whereas in Football Manager, maybe in the full fact, you mean a lot. As in, like, how you play the game and what you do, that determines the results, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, like, things can just... It's not you just buy, I'm just going to buy this random player and that random player and that random player. He's a banging inside forward, so I'm just going to buy him because he was great on Tony's save, sort of thing. Whereas here, it's like, well, actually, if you do buy him, it can just throw off your whole team's mindset, which is something that I just really like because, again, it goes hand in hand with what we think Football Manager should be going into the future with, like, a new feature where these personality things should really matter and how you want the club to be should really matter. So if you want your club to run and be a certain way, you shouldn't really be able to buy players with opposite personality and everything's still fine and dandy. Like, that should matter. Who you're bringing in should matter. And yeah, I'm talking like this is going to be FM25. Like, I'm just going to be like, this is going to be a good change, but I was just like, wait, this is actually FM24.
I looked at the screenshots because I had everything, like, before I did the Hock Tour video, like, I looked at the screenshots and going, what can I see for console? And the one thing I could see for console was dynamics are definitely in the screenshot when you compare it on the Xbox store, and it wasn't showing at the moment in time on the same screenshot for PC. So whether or not they, and I know I've talked to Si about this, whether or not they merge it but they're hiding it, or they bring a variation of it in but it's still, it's a bit more in depth, but this is the experimental they're building towards because they've gone, what can we do better? Let's do this on console, see if it works. Let's do it on touch, see if it works. If it works well in touch and console, why can't it work in PC? It's like, it seems to be like I mean, there's a load of other things on console which I really don't understand. For example, I'm going to go out there, staff make no sense in console. You can't you can't even choose your background staff, but you can on mobile. I don't get it. But we'll get there afterwards.
You may have to explain the screen that we're seeing on the
absolute belt there.
absolute banger screen.
I was looking for it.
This is it.
Sim a couple of matches.
Should as well say as well, by the way, if you haven't been watching the YouTube video, you'll have seen it. The audio listeners, he has instant resulted. He's done the content creator thing and instant resulted. He's not managed.
I didn't go on holiday.
We've scolded him, okay, and we've taken 3 of his subscribers away. So just know we've done the work we're supposed to do. Okay? We will get him to play a match properly in a second, but But yeah, Si, talk
I
through
lost
the
to
screen
Real
here, pal.
Madrid as a result.
You didn't lose. Your
This-
assistant manager lost.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, he's just come to me now. So this is. I was trying to get one of these to crop up. To do him with that buy-in, you'll occasionally get like a notification every now and again to say X player is doing this or not doing this. He's not gaining buy-in. What do you want to do about it? And it gives you like a, here you go. Here's like your RPG choice, A or B, right? You know, choose your path, choose your own adventure. I think this one is actually more around like the way in which they develop their skills and stuff. But it's telling me Julian Alvarez. We're doing Man City right now. Julian Alvarez is losing focus in training because he keeps trying to be tricky and try skills and stuff. Do I encourage him to continue to do that and become more like Flair, or do I tell him to stop and work hard? Right? Which way do you want to go? He's been gaining buy-in the last 30 days, by the way. Go on, we can do this as a RPG team. Roll a d20 if you like.
Right, so he's gaining buy-in, but he's losing his focus.
Well, we can encourage his expressionism and his flair and his skills. Basically, he's doing step overs all day, but he's not making his passes.
He's doing TikTok videos in the pitch.
Yeah.
He's at Man City. Guardiola's telling him to do exactly what he's told and don't even consider
Guardiola,
thinking. Like,
Tell him to stop.
do as
Okay.
they're
I'm
told.
more encouraged, you know. I'm more
You want to
encouraged.
encourage.
I know
one
the
of
answer.
these
I know
passes-
what happens if you choose a two, so I'm a cheat code. I'm not going to say the right answer or wrong answer.
No,
I'm
go
gonna
on,
leave
tell
it
us.
to-
Go on,
There
encourage.
shouldn't be a right or wrong answer. It should be
encourage.
a unique response.
Oh wait. Oh no.
So you get this.
So there's a...
So for the audio
Half the
listeners, you
team
get
liked
half
it.
the team giving you buy-in, like Haaland likes it, but Kevin De Bruyne and Calvin Phillips and Kyle Walker are disowning you right now. They are not happy you've given them details.
Yeah.
But if we
Scott
can get,
Carson is angry about this.
I don't know if we can get that far across, side, but there is a payoff if you want to show them the Easter egg of what happens when you
Yeah, we'll
encourage
see
it.
if we can get it.
Let's see if we can get that,
see if we
because
can get
we'll
there.
go full circle to the start of the video then.
He's gonna score a hat trick now.
He doesn't just get a hat trick. He's not a cheat
He just started him to see what happens.
code, but we'll
Scored
see.
an
There should-
overhead
we should
kick
get
from the
a-
halfway line.
He's actually scored. He's actually scored.
Did he score? There you go. Yeah.
Hey, look,
My boy, the Alvarez flick. What? Wait, what?
Yeah,
this is what the payoff was. If you chose the right one, this is why we'll keep quiet, see if they do it. Back to player animations.
After working closely with the head coach Sam Maggio on developing a new skill in training, Julian Alvarez took the time to praise him for giving him time to develop the new flick together and encouragement he offered along the way. Alvarez successfully took it from the training stadium to the pitch during the recent game. That's amazing. That is... So wait, would that only happen if you win the game? What happens if you lose the game?
I
I don't think it matters if you win or lose the game.
Okay.
He just tries this trick.
But I
in
love
the
the
game.
fact that he's called it the Alvarez flick. That's just mental.
It's
I
for
love
everyone,
that.
though. You could have John Smith flick if he's an expressionable player.
Yeah, they might have
It
to.
would
Yeah,
just
they
be
might have to
that.
reword it. Yeah, you
The
don't
Harry
want
Did
it to
you get
Maguire
handsy
step
flick
over.
flick? Was that work?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was that. And then do
That's
you know
amazing.
how many games I've watched 90 minutes trying to spot the animation for the new flick? No one I've clicked that. I've been there watching the game going, go on, show me the animation. I've tracked the player, brought him on. Right, 15 minutes instead. No trick. But he's developed it, but I can't find it on the match engine. Just for that little nugget.
But I like that. That's just something new. Like you can't ask him to. That's just something that's happened on the fly. Like it's spontaneous. You haven't gone to the training ground and you haven't asked Alvarez to learn the Alvarez flick and trick. Like it's just happened in the game. It's all unique. And that's amazing.
Right. Well, let's watch. No.
No, go on.
Oh, you want to
No.
watch a match?
No, we
We're
get
about
to-
to get knocked out of the Champions
Let's show them
League.
the
Maybe
match
we'll
day
beat Real Madrid.
experience. Let's show, because the match
I
engine
was
is...
hoping we could get
Alvarez
Champions League
again.
final.
The boy's on fire.
Yeah. All right, we're out of the
Boy,
Champions League. Let's do.
yeah, that
Well, we do
flick
Man
is-
City, Man United. How
The
about that?
flick is
'Cause-
OP.
Okay, so you don't, obviously can't import face packs and names, so we're stuck with MUFC.
Yeah.
But for console players next year, of course, this won't be the case. God,
The one
so
other thing with console, which no one really realises, is we haven't got the in-game editor. So you can't cheat to find out what players' wonder kids or potentials are. So it actually, from like, if you want to make it really harder... Oh, we got the sounds on. Welcome to Old
Oh,
the
sound,
Etihad.
yeah.
Oh, there's the sound on now.
You got to go on preferences. Oh,
Holy.
Is it loud? There should
be.
be sound. Hang on.
Just a bit.
It shouldn't be sound.
Yeah, the sound's been on all the way through, and I was kind of like thinking, I can probably edit
it's
that
weird.
out
It's,
until
Oh, right. That's my bad.
yeah, it was from, like when the screen share
took
goes, I think and you put it back, I think the sound goes.
There you go. It should be good now.
Right,
Yeah, it's good
okay, here we go then. It's the big one. Man City
big
versus
derby.
Man UFC.
Oh, we should in the Champions League. You'd have had the music going on.
It's funny, actually,
yeah.
because I remember you mentioned something about the backroom stuff, right? Now, something might happen in this game where I feel, again, the full VAT version should take some lessons from it. Hopefully it's going to happen in the game. If it doesn't happen in this game, I will just say it at the end.
And for audio listeners, we didn't give a team talk because they don't give you the option to give a team talk. So the first thing you do is go shout, demand more. And then we got told it doesn't work. So
But as you lot can see on YouTube, obviously, on Spotify, listeners, make sure you just come over YouTube quickly and then you can go back to Spotify. But as you can see here, the game, the engine just looks the exact same. Now, this is where my head was just, I was blown away by
I
the
think
game.
it zoomed in more.
It's a bit
I
No,
think
it
you
zoomed
have
in
to-
more.
there is
Yeah,
definitely
it
the
zoomed in
director
more.
version is a little bit more zoomed in. You can zoom in and out. There are the same modes. And
Yeah, yeah.
actually, if you go to your preferences, you can actually say, I don't know if it's on PC, but on your preferences, you can say, show me clear cut, show me opposition goals, or the replays. You can
Yeah,
really dive in.
yeah.
And then when you're on your touchline tablet, you can go into the detail. You can go, show me how many times, like the woodwork, how many times I've missed a clear cut chance, how many progressive passes. All the data's there. It's just, again, this person here hasn't done video.
There's where I am. This is it right now. So in Football Manager, right? If KDB got a light injury in your game on the PC, it just flies. Like the only way you would notice that is if you can actually see the icon, right? Now in mobile or FM Touch, I should say, the game momentarily pauses, and to me, that's like an immersion where you've got the assistant actually in your air now, and you've got to make a decision. Am I going to keep him on? Am I going to replace him? The game's paused for you, which I think is a fantastic thing already. So you don't have to manually do it. Go into your tactics and change people. The options already. The game stopped, and your assistant has noticed this. Like he's got a knock, and then he's actually giving you a little bit of details on the injury as well, so you can make that decision. Like I just think that's great. So that's what I was actually going to wait for, because it comes later in the game as well. So when your players are getting tired, like you don't have to really use your eye and keep an eye on the player's fitness. You've got an assistant. The assistant is actually doing something. And I think, for me, that's what Football Manager full fat version is kind of missing or lacking, is the input from your staff. I don't feel that their input is great or even tailor-made, right? Because they all got attributes, but it seems like you always get the same bit of advice regardless of who the staff is in the full fat version. But I just like the fact that the game pauses and you've got someone in your ear telling you something has happened. Can you make a decision? And it's 2-0 now because Rodri has just scored from a corner. So corners is still a thing.
I mean, there is one downside on a match day. If you were to go into the start menu to make a substitution, for example, like I know, Si, you had trouble with this, didn't you? When you were trying to make a substitution, you couldn't see the colours because they don't actually tell you what the positions of the players are. So you go into this
right here, right?
So at least you know who Man City's
yes,
players are. If you're taking over a club in Japan, you're gonna have to know who Shinzi. I'm not gonna make any. I'm not gonna get banned.
I've got a shirt with a cheetah on the
I know
back.
he's,
of it.
I know he's going.
If you'd have said Plymouth, right?
right? You don't know your players. You know, all of the Ivan regions from Spain, you're going to have to work out. And the only way it tells you, I couldn't believe this when I started playing console, was can you see how it's slightly glowed? That tells you what the position they're
over the
natural.
kits. Yeah.
That's it. I was like, how are you supposed to... And if you're playing on the big TV and you're miles away from it, you're relying on that. So the only way I do it is I'll go and click down like the drop down and change a player if I'm brand new to a team. Otherwise, I have them in sub 1 to 9 in certain orders for the positions.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like
Definitely need your glasses.
So like this
and
guy, I
contacts
can't
over
actually
this
tell
one.
where he's supposed to be. Oh, okay, centre back or right back.
Okay, but this is Harwood Bellis, right? But this is kind of nice. So if I go to bring him on and I hover over Ake, for example, it would be like, okay, there's Ruben Diaz. This is, if you bring on Harwood Bellis, is a ball-playing defender. This is what you're losing. You're losing a bit of heading, you're losing some passing, you're losing some composure.
Oh, yeah, on the left-hand side.
You're losing
Sorry.
some
Nice,
marking.
yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was
Actually
looking
shows
at
like
where you was
difference.
hovering him.
Is that not
Yeah,
on
that's
PC
it,
then,
like-
lads? Is that not
No.
PC?
No,
Oh,
you don't
Jesus.
get told anything.
Well, this
I mean,
is-
obviously you can just hover over the players, but I mean, you could just hover over the player to get their full attributes, right?
But it doesn't tell you how much you're losing, right? So
But it
like,
could be great if you're in the middle of the game and you're going, right, I just need a extra bit of pace, or I need like someone who's got a bit more composure just to see the game out. Right,
yeah, I was gonna
take
say-
someone creative off, get that person who's just going to sit in front of the defence and do nothing. You bring someone who's got a bit of influence, bit of an older head, going, right, you come on, just steady the game out, or hey, you've got pace, go on, get at them. You need to get them on, right? That's a great feature. I like that as well. There's a couple of things I'm taking from console that I'm quite
it
liking.
just feels like this game is a very good game, and it just needs a little bit of tweaks. So like what you
look
just
at
said there,
this.
like when you're making the sub and you can't see the blah 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 blah. Again, that's just I don't say a minor tweak, but that's just a tweak, a small tweak that I think they can make to just enhance experience. So we do have halftime team talk here. Nice.
Yeah, we don't have
It's
pre-match.
good
We do have
talks as
half-time.
well.
It's very weird. But I do like that it tells you, right? It says, if you choose this, could boost players having a decent game, could confuse players performing poorly.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you on PC. Like, you
I was gonna say,
know,
yeah,
right?
and like even on PC, I don't think it has to tell you, but I think they use language where it's just like, why don't you just use normal language that everyone in the world can understand?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's been too many times, hasn't it, when you've gone to do your team talk and
Like,
you
the
think you've said the
gestures,
right
like-
thing and they've all got really angry.
Like, bro, was it hands together? Like, what is that? Who? Hello, lads. We're in the change room. Like, I don't understand.
You have
I
selected
just think
preacher
they're
mode.
I'm pointing finger
Like,
as
it's
well.
like arms crossed, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like, his arms crossed. Like, actually, they say in presentations and stuff like that, don't stand with your arms crossed, because it's quite a negative stance to have. But it could also be like a serious, or it could just be like, yeah, we're doing well. Just it could be a relaxed, just carry on.
That's what I'm
So it
saying,
depends
point
how
finger.
Or it could be like, you're about to go furious.
I always
Like, you
thought
can point the
hands
finger and tell them
together
that you've
was
done
like
well,
begging.
right? Yeah. It's like, oi, boys, you've done well. We are every single one of ya. You just it's got pointing finger, but you can tell them that you're doing well. Like, I don't understand what that is supposed to be giving off to the players, though. Like, if I'm pointing my finger, what am I trying to? Am I trying to motivate you? Am I upset at you? Like, I don't understand it.
And you can obviously make substitutions in-game. I know it's popping up here with the assistant manager, but when it's on that
Yeah, you
touchline
can
thing at the
normally.
bottom, not even there, you can actually go into the players. So if you click on one of those players next time it comes up, like there,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
you
change your
mean-
player, but there as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
And then it will also
Send
tell
them there.
you, looks extremely delighted, very poor fitness. You can say, you can actually do your touchline shouts here on individuals as well. So you can say,
Ironically, you get more option on that screen, like what you do on the PC version, than you do going into the tactics screen. To be honest,
Yeah.
you get all your options. You get to see what position
Yeah.
the players actually play, and you get the tablet that we've all got.
I was
in
just
the-
gonna say,
in the
yeah.
PC
And the talisman
version.
cards.
So you're not losing anything.
Well, we don't have a tablet. You're using a skin, don't
I'm
forget,
using a
that adds
skin,
lot
of course.
the tablet
Yeah, that's a good
stuff.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the tablet just has I think just has something that sort of looks a bit like this in
Yeah,
default.
true,
You don't get
actually,
you don't get tabs in the tablet.
and you get the advice from the assistant manager as well there, which is all there, like
Yeah,
you
it's
get
all
when
there.
that little pop-up pops up on PC, I remember, and you just ignore it. And you can still ignore him if you want to, but you can. It does pop up there. And on the match stats, like I said earlier, you can customize that to tell you XG, non-XG, just down below there. You can
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
whatever you want
choose
from
which
that.
one.
It's
Same
like
as-
hundreds
yeah,
of
PC.
options. So that's all the chalkboard data, which they've taken away as well, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
I don't-
it's all
yeah.
there.
They're taking the place. They're going to put it somewhere else.
Yeah,
aren't
yeah,
they,
exactly.
really?
Yeah, it's in the data hub, which
Because
yeah.
nobody knew where it was before. So
So this bit confuses me because you can't change these, right? So
Yeah.
match momentum, action zones, shot map, average positions. Hang on a minute, shot map, average position. Oh, it's the other
No, it's just two
right?
different
Yeah,
teams. So the
other
Man
teams.
City
Yeah,
shot
yeah.
map, and then yeah.
there's definitely some things to take from it that could be implemented within the PC game, and I think there's definitely some things that the PC game could implement into the console version, and I think that
Yeah.
the two should work together rather than against each other. And I certainly don't see the anger of FM25 is becoming a console mobile game. I certainly don't see that at all. And people who are saying that, I think
Yeah.
I would love to understand what they mean by that, because
I think I've got it. I think. So I looked at it today again at the screenshots, and I'm with them sort of like there's something off about the screenshots, and I just kept looking at it, going back to FM24, and I think it's missing.
flatter.
If it's personality or the info that makes me think I'm smart. If that makes so, like, you know how many people want Football Manager just to be a niche game for them, and it makes them feel like a certain way because they understand it, and not everyone understands it. So it makes you feel like you're smarter than you actually are. So I think so. When I'm looking at a player profile on FM25, right, instantly I notice I'm missing a lot of words, and what it was is the player's bio. So the player's biography is completely gone, and when you're taking away information, it does feel like you're dumbing it down. But I just do feel that the FM25 screenshots are lacking that person. Like, you don't think it's going to be a game with lots of information, if that makes sense.
But we should also remember as well that all of these screenshots have the word work in progress splattered all over them. So let's remember that these may not be the exact finished screens. And you're right, I'd not thought about the bio thing until you've just mentioned it there.
Yeah.
And then there's part of me, and then I don't remember the last time I read a player's bio.
But
because it's there, am I just like, that information must be important?
I think it's just a personality thing, right? Like, so you open up a player's bio on Football Manager, and it's just one thing that does make them feel like a person, that they've got a bio that is telling you information about that person and where they were born, all of that sort of stuff. So it does make them feel like an actual person, whereas here it does feel just like, because I'll be honest with you, the name and the player's picture is very small. It is very tiny. So again, like, it's I don't feel it's even less. I don't feel it's console. I just still think it's spreadsheety, but they've taken things away. Like this, I'm looking at a player's profile now, FM25 screenshot, and it doesn't look like a mobile game. Or it doesn't look like what we just looked at here on FM console. This just looks like a different version, a new skin sort of, and they've taken away the player's bio. Everything else still feels similar, other than I actually think the player's name and picture is very small. I'm looking at Ferguson, and I quite have to squint my eyes to see his face properly, sort of thing. So yeah.
I wonder if, and I think this might be the case, and you hinting that it is the work in progress might indicate this as well. One, there are things that they just are not putting on screen at the minute because it would indicate features that are coming.
Yeah.
And two, that it's just scaled poorly. So they're using a resolution that's probably not the resolution most of us use. And most of us then go in and fill around with our scaling and accessibility options until it suits us, right? I have it 125% on a 4K monitor, because if it's 100% on a 4K monitor, it's like the tiniest writing in the world, and I have so much dead space. So they've just sort of hit it at a sort of middle ground small laptop size PC, I think, with quite blown up. So it's visible, right? Like if I put this on the screen, like this is even the console one, right? But if I put that, like there's so much on the screen there, you'd be like, what is this? You know, it doesn't look good, right? It doesn't look clean. It's just a mess of text. I mean, it is quite clean, this. But,
I was going to say that, for me, that's clean, yeah.
It's clean, but there's a lot there, and it's a lot of text still, right?
You've got to remember,
and I think also with the new card system,
That's
what it will
it.
do is it will cut that
But
down
I
to,
think
like,
the
one
suits.
thing.
I think the suits for people. I think that suits though people that play the game differently. So now again, you're using screenshots that this wasn't even Football Manager putting it out. By the way, this is on Steam, so it's not even Football Manager putting it out. But I'm looking at the Brighton squad page, right, and it's nothing's customizable. It's like, this is what we're showing you. This is what you have to look at. And like some of these things, like, I don't want to look at how many internationals I've got in my team. I don't want to see how many promises that I've made, and when the squad registration thing is closing, that's just forced upon me. Like that screen right there. Like, I don't want to see half of that stuff, and that I feel for me that should be customizable. And
I think it will be though.
Maybe I was gonna say, maybe it is. Maybe it is. And again, like, you know, we are saying work in progress. Is this just images of things that they've maybe considered that you could see access to? So maybe squad registration might be something like rules.
Yeah, I know, but we are 2 months. We are 2 months away. That's it.
But the problem is, it's a lot. It's a lot of we don't knows, and I think that's what's getting people. Certain people are getting angry about the fact that they're having to fill the blanks in themselves. They've not been given the chance to see what the game looks like right now, and certainly they're not going to get the chance to play it in the time they were expecting to play it. And because of that, they are, as I say, putting 2 and 2 together and potentially coming up with 7, 8, 9, 10, 46,000. Like, I don't really know.
Can I say, like, a lot of things that we're talking about, and a lot of it's on YouTube, and I'm being very careful not to upset anyone on YouTube at the moment in time. But there's the population of... I did this in a video, and I've kept it there. The 11 million people is the same population as Portugal, right? So if you imagine that the whole of the world, 11 million people sitting in one country is Portugal. On average, how many YouTubers do you know that get a city's worth of views? Because most people probably don't watch it on YouTube. I know. And it's a very small minority of us, I think, that are that dedicated to watch everyone on YouTube. A lot of people just don't know the YouTube community's opinions and the Reddit community's opinions.
I can say for definite that the Twitter... that people have access to Twitter and
Yes.
they have a lot of things
Yes.
that they want to say. And
Yes, sorry.
a lot of those times, some of those. Well, you know what? I'm going to say some of those opinions are valid. Some of those opinions are not valid. The same as
So
they are with YouTube. Same as our Reddit.
Yes,
same as they are on
everyone's
this podcast. You know, we're not saying that our opinions are 100% correct.
No.
We're just expressing a view of going.
Yeah.
I personally, my personal view. I don't think it's going to be as bad as some people are making out to be. And if I'm wrong, on November the 26th, I'll hold my hand up and say, I'm really sorry for being positive. I'm really sorry. Okay? But I don't think I'm going to be wrong because I've not been wrong. Like, yes, I haven't been wrong in the past. And I should also say as well, we're not paid by Sports Interactive to say that. We've had comments in the past about the fact we are on the payroll. We're not.
It's weird that people say that. It's like you clearly don't watch my streams because I am going mad at them literally every single time. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like for me, like there's not real much information to be angry about. So my thing about the release, I do feel that SI are sort of adding fuel to that anger, right? And it's not right that people are even thinking of blaming the women's football for if Football Manager's going to be bad, it's the woman. But I do feel Football Manager are in a real good position to sort of nip this in the bud. Now, my thing, right, so a lot of people keep saying that, I don't say a lot keep saying because it's not really a complaint, but people do fight back and say that, well, SI have been releasing this the same method, the same way previously. But for me, it just feels like you've mentioned a brand new engine 14 months ago. And I think from when you launched that, everyone wants to see it. That's all anyone cares about. That's all everybody wants to see. And then for you to then have an announcement. Again, they gave us an announcement of when announcement was going to come. And then everyone thought, oh, this is going to be it. Then the announcement came and it's like, well, this is an announcement to tell you, actually, the roadmap announcements in the 7th of... And that sort of thing, I think that just adds fuel to people's anger. Like, some people, again, might not even actually know what they're angry about. Or it might just be from worryingness. They might just be scared because for a lot of people, they use this game for an escape. Like, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, mental health-wise, but they use this game as an escape. Some people do need this game. I'll hold my hands up and say I'm one of those people. Yep. I need this game. Do you know what I mean? So I think a lot of them are a bit worried. Yeah, they're just a little bit worried. And
I think where the fuel and the anger, as you say, is coming from, and you're right, and it is. I would like to hope it's misplaced, right?
It's misplaced.
People,
100%.
people are obviously, as you say, they're saying, oh, you know, things have been removed because women's football's been put in. No. That's not the situation. Women's football has been planned for years. In fact, if you even go back to listen when I was on Football Manager Therapy years ago,
I was going to say, it's FM25,
myself and
no?
Matt interviewed Tina Keach, who's the head of women's football, when they announced women's football was coming in. So that must have been, 3 years ago or something?
21,
yeah. We're going to be getting, hopefully getting Tina back on again, or at least some representative from SI to talk about women's football leading into the game. This has been planned for a long time. It's not been, right, we're going to get FM25 out. Oh, hang on, we're crowbarring women's football in. Right, out goes international management to make way for it. Women's football was always coming in. It was being made in its own specific way.
Well,
and when they're obviously now...
It got pushed back a year, right? So this wasn't even supposed to be the year. It was supposed to be last year, right?
So last year. So now it's in... Now it was always part of the roadmap. It was always going to be part of the roadmap. So to say that something's been removed because of that is not true.
I just think the communication. I don't know. It's just it just feels off. But my thing, yeah, again, with the women's football, it just felt like, even with announcing that, right, like, say, the 7th of in a week, or a few days, actually, in a few days, they're going to be announcing the women's football. But I just felt that even when you're announcing it, how do you do it justice without showing it? Because a lot of work is going into it. Like, the women are running different. They're going to be kicking the ball different. They're going to be jumping differently. I just feel, again, people need to see that, especially those who are doubting the women's football. Even today, like, I had someone in the chat say, well, I'm only going to, who cares about the women's football? I'm probably just going to play it for an hour. And I was like, well, they've done their job, right? Because there's going to be so many leagues in this game right now that you haven't clicked on or given an hour to. But you've just admitted that you may just give an hour to women's football. So Football Manager have actually done their job. They've made you curious for a moment. But I just feel people need to see that. I just feel.
Well, I think what's interesting is obviously at the time of recording, this is the 3rd of October.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The announcement is the 7th of October for women's
It's
football.
out. I've seen it, people.
This episode will be out
Yeah.
following the announcement. So what I'm going to suggest right now is I love the match engine. Women's football plays brilliantly.
Brilliant. Have you seen them? It's amazing.
And are you all happy now? Just calm. It's fine. Or we didn't see it. Sorry. Tune in next week for our views on that.
I think there's some interesting stuff that, and like, well, so if people haven't go watch FM Console Stig's video on the volumetric player animations, but there is lots of things hidden. Or like, even if you go all the way back to their announcement last year, they talked about some things. Like, I had some people telling me, oh, we don't even know if the match engine's going to change. Well, I mean, I guess it depends if you talk about the graphical or the in-game match engine, right? The thing that's running the match underneath. But you go back to their announcement last year and Project Dragonfly, and they say all these things are changing. They bring, this new animation tech, all of that is there in that animation from over a year ago. So it's like it's not like it's not there. You can find out, and see some information. Not much, but it's not like they're not doing. It's not that there isn't anything. There's even things like this, like more playable leagues. Okay, women's leagues are obviously in the game, and nations. So they're adding some new nations. We know, right? Like.
We forced down your neck as well.
Yeah.
It does say playable nations. Yeah, it obviously doesn't mean
Estonian
international.
leagues. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it, right?
But this is, yeah,
and
this is
then
the thing.
there's other stuff. You have the volumetric player animations. You have the enhanced graphical fidelity, the matchday experience. If you come into this post here has more stuff that's not in the other stuff. So how about this? We spoke about the challenges and stuff before in the RPG, right? A complete revamp of the way you set up your manager would deliver more customized, unique stories whenever you step in the dugout. How does that sound to you?
Principles.
Yeah.
Sounds like what we just spoke about.
Yeah, right?
So
I got a video on Principles if it comes out.
I don't know if that's a good thing for people's arguments, man. It's like, I told you it's a mobile game. Oh, Lord.
But
A more visually impressive match day experience. Like, of course, these things are going to change, So they're already it's there, but you have to go like 5 or 6 announcements deep to find it, because that's the announcement on the Steam page, right? Which is like, no one's reading that because they're going to think it's the same as the one on the website. But it wasn't the same as the one on the website. It was ever so slightly different, and this has ever so slightly different to the website as Stig was exploring the volumetric player data. So. Yeah.
And if you go into like the screenshots, the start in a new game, like I've actually, again, because I'm very sad and I try to do it for content, I've mapped the console database. If you were to load the top 10, so Big 5 plus like, the Pentagon Challenge, you get about 50,000 players in console. They're on about bringing in 25,000 women players. And if it's as easy as, I know audio listeners will be, I'm trying to do it for audio listeners, we're on a screenshot now of starting a new save. There is a drop down saying men's football, women's football. Now, if that's in console, PC, whatever, it's literally going to be another, I know the maximum we can get for PC is 400,000 players. But obviously, only insane people do that because their PCs probably can't cover it. But like, even if you had a basic setup, you'd have another load of women's games because it's that one ecosystem, another load of players for you to go off and scout. And I talk as a proud Welshman. Do you really go to Llantwit Major or Llandiloes or Cambrian? I've been to Cambrian Cridach. My kid used to play on the football pitch.
I love my Llanwit, mate. I've
Right?
got my Llanwit Major football shirt right here. They make the best football shirts in football.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, or Cambrian Cridach. I played on their pitch.
No, I was wearing Rogerstone.
I played on Cambrian Cridach pitch, right? But that's not international women's football. I've played a Welsh FA Cup game, against one of those teams as a pub side. But people still choose to play those leagues, and you've got international women's football, which are going to be as good as, well, we don't know how high the quality is, but Frank Kirby's profile looked quite good.
I was going to say we saw Frank Kirby.
And the hidden things which we haven't covered yet, but I know a lot of people have covered it, including Si, is channel forwards. There's completely different roles for these women footballers. So even if
And
you think
centre forward.
it's going to be a completely different tactical experience to play women's football, and that's a challenge in itself. And I know
I don't
obviously
know if
there's that
that's a
thing
mistake,
from,
though.
I think that's going to be part of. There's a part on the roadmap as well where they talk about new tactical systems. So I think that might be part of it. Then it might be that there is something else that's going on. I would presume it's maybe not just for the women's game that channel forward and centre forward are in. It's interesting that of course it showed up on Frank Kirby's profile. So
It doesn't show
not
on
on
Ferguson, innit?
Ferguson.
well,
Yeah,
Frank
he's got
Kirby's
different
also
roles on
6'4" according to this, and she's only 5'2".
Yeah.
Well, that matches exactly to Evan Ferguson's one. That left-hand info column is exactly the same as Evan Ferguson's left-hand info column. So you can see, like, that almost demonstrates to you. It also, like, look at the colouring on some of the player attributes, right? Like heading is a 14. Like, why is that in a bluey? And that's in a yellow, right? Long shots.
I do like
pieces are
because
their
they
own
just-
Yeah,
attributes
that's the
as well,
thing. I
which
love
again,
set pieces.
I do like that.
We spoke about that last week, didn't we, or the week before, saying that you need your own set piece attributes, and again, it's now in.
Yeah.
Training. Training looks normal.
Do you remember what we was talking about? Grouping attributes, like that would make it easier to read if they grouped it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not exactly what we spoke about, but they have grouped set pieces, which is nice.
So yes, a shout out to everyone who's clearly listening to the podcast and taking notes.
Here's a little Easter egg for you. I don't know if anyone knows this, but the training, because obviously they used to have lots of ex-pros, the training is basically based on Jose Mourinho, isn't it? It's tactical periodization.
Yeah.
And that's where
when
it
was
came
that? Was
from. And
when was
that's
that?
when Jose came in from, like, Chelsea, and they introduced this new training process.
Is it
That was
tactical periodization?
periodization to get
Yes, that's
ready
the
per
one.
the
Yeah.
games. But people didn't realise that's what they've done with the training. But that is tactical. If you look, again, I've gone on Tifo, which, again, I don't know if I can plug other YouTube channels.
Yeah.
But
No,
Tifo
yeah.
did massive stuff about and that's basically what FM training is.
It is.
It's tactical periodization brought across from Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
But people don't realise that's why they brought it, because that's now how the world works. Which
It's
is
the
why
same
they're
as
not
set
doing an
pieces. Your
inbox.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Which again goes back to your thoughts last week, Aaron, about prepping for just that one game rather than prepping for 6 weeks as a block.
And it's similar to set pieces as well. So if you actually see the language that they're using, it's language they use in the professional world, like outswinging and in-swinging and that sort of stuff. Like that is the terms that they use actual on the training pitch. So obviously whoever they brought in when they were doing the set pieces, they've got that information firsthand from obviously people in the real life football, and this is why Football Manager is the best football manager simulator out there. But yeah, my
Si.
training. Oh, go on,
Sorry,
yeah, Si.
Aaron, I've just realised as well, Si, on this page, new gen faces, no more
Yeah.
Hawks.
Yeah.
No more Hawk, but probably still a new gen.
Well, Mario Dubry is not a new gen. We should point out he is a
joined
real-
us.
So I do believe they don't just have the blacked out face anymore. So if they don't have your face in the game, it will take the data from the editor. So it would say like, yeah, black and skin tone 7, whatever, hairstyle 3, and then it will just recreate in the game.
Oh no, they've gone down the FIFA route where they got in trouble
I'll
a
be
few years
honest
ago
with you,
for
like,
making
I find that better. Like, if you want to talk about immersion and stuff, right? Like, it does look silly when you're going for your team and it's like he's got a face and he doesn't have a face, and it's just like at least everyone again make that personality thing. Like everyone, there's now a picture to the person, there's a face to the person, sort of thing. I guess.
Yeah, but
like,
is it not risky if it's like generic X?
Well, look
know,
at all,
player.
look
Yeah.
at all the AI generated faces that are incredibly popular in the face packs, isn't it? You know, like okay, so we've got Scandinavian 7 and South Asian 5, and they all look the same, don't they? But
This
it's
is
just
one
the way
thing
that
I've
it's the way that the AI has put those together and went right that.
But they're
and
not
that
real
and that.
people. That's the ethical.
True.
You know.
True.
Are you reducing a person?
but why is it dangerous to do it here, not dangerous to do it in PES or FIFA then?
Because in PES and FIFA they try to make them look like the players. I guess lower down they do the generic ones.
Those 17-year-olds do not look like anything like the people in real life.
Welcome to
No, there's
the
no-
Ethics Show.
I'm trying to remember who complained
let's
about
go
it.
back to PS2 graphics where everyone looked like a block on PS and Pro Evo, and no
But
one
it's the
looked
thing,
like a
like,
player
yeah.
was supposed to.
Let's go back to some of the stuff we cut out at the start of the show. Let's just get ourselves back.
But the one I do have a concern. I do have a concern about this. This is the one thing I was a bit. The whole point of the match engine in before 24 was they were trying to get they wanted to try and get the players' faces in the match engine. Have they
I
actually
didn't want
been? They were saying they wanted it, that Miles was trying to get them. That's why they had this, and then there was a limitation to what they could actually do based on the technology. And then I'm wondering, does this mean that what we're seeing there is they haven't? I don't have a clue. But my thing is, does that mean they're not moving far away from that on the match engine side of things, but they're still trying to get the players' faces in the match engine? And when they've got these generic faces, it's just to populate the match engine. So, like you said, Black 7, South Asian 5, it's just to fill in the match engine bit, and it's still...
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's
a good point, though. It is a good point. It's something that I wouldn't personally would even look for, but I do think that's a good point, though, because I think it's one of those things that people always ask as well. Like, they want to zoom in, they want to see the people on the pitch. I don't know when they're going to see this, but so everyone's worried about FM being delayed, but at this point, we've spoke about so many things like it could be delayed, and there could be so many reasons where it's not actual the gameplay, it's just they want to get this sort of match day experience, right? Who knows? The delay could be the actual experience. Rather than the gameplay and the game, it could be that going into the game or what they're showing you, the cameras and that sort of thing, like that could be something that
really, could be something really daft, like they're trying to balance
you know,
the
what I mean,
levels out.
Yeah,
or something,
that,
like the
there
audio
could be
levels are
that
wrong,
sort of
like-
stuff, yeah, rather than the game is just crappy and it's all buggy and stuff. Like, it might not even be that. It could just be these things that they really want to get right, and it's just all it takes for them is just a few tweakings. But they've given us a date. That's why the date kind of calmed me down a little bit, because I'm like, now there's a date, right? There's something there then. Do you know what I mean? Now there's a date, but yeah.
Well, with that in mind, then, and this can kind of be our sort of like relative closing statement on the on the public episode before we start going into that sweet Patreon content that we know and love. We do have a date, 26th of November. We have a date for a live show, by the way, which is the 4th of November in the Nottingham Comedy Festival. So come and check out us and come and talk to us in real life. The tickets link is in the description below. So it'll be the 4th year in a row we've done that show in the Nottingham venue. So come and hang out, have a few drinks with us afterwards, and come and sort of like talk FM. We do know that there's a launch date for FM25. It's the 26th of November. The big question is we don't know whether there is an early access, formerly known as a beta. And again, people have taken that incredibly...
You call it beta? You can't call it beta.
I
beta.
said formerly.
No, I mean beta.
Oh,
How do you
beta.
pronounce it?
Beta. Sorry. I'm just that's the bit you've took umbrage at, is it? Well, this last hour and a half of podcast has been fine, but I can't believe you called it the beta. God, what an idiot. Right, okay, yeah. So is there or is there not early access? And as you can imagine, people have been incredibly... considerate with their thoughts on that as well, Si.
Yes. Does it matter? I mean, like, if just work towards the end of November being the date you get the game. Like,
I think it does, though. Because, remember, Foot Manager doesn't give us a demo. So that is people's demo. That's their try. I mean, you
But
say
it's
it's a
not a
demo because
demo.
they
They
paid
used to-
for
they
it.
used to do
But
a
yeah,
demo.
but
There are
you know
demos
what I'm
there.
saying? It is.
You have to buy
it
the
is-
game still.
Yeah, but it is their sort of introduction. It is their warm up to the full release. You know, everyone does that. Everyone's got their rituals, right? Like, this is my beta save, and then
I mean, it doesn't make a difference for a player, though, does it? What does it do?
I think it does.
It's a buggier version of the game slightly because they haven't fixed them yet.
because.
remember that version
I don't think so, because I use beta to learn the game, and that,
But you could.
no, because then if you
there's nothing
so
that the beta
I
does
can
different.
start as Arsenal, right, in the beta, and that's me getting grips of the save for then me to eventually start at Real Valladolid. Whereas if I
just do
just
that
start,
anyway.
but then if I just start at Real Valladolid, I don't have that prep and I don't have the hang of the game to
Just
start that.
just do a short save with Arsenal anyway.
Yeah, but you see how complicated it's getting, rather, if you're just moving with... I don't know, it just felt more natural to move with the game, right? Like, you've got your 2 weeks to prep, and... Because then what's the point of demos, then?
Arron's got like 200
But a
saves
demo
to
is
do
in case you want to buy it.
FM25.
What was that? Sorry, Stig. Go ahead.
I said Aaron's got to do the 200 saves in FM25. He's
Yeah, it can't be 200. Now I'm going to be stuck in 180. You know what I mean?
This is the thing. You'll get through 5 saves in the bloody betas.
No, I do think
they do do a
for me,
demo
as
anyway.
someone that's
It
been
does do a demo,
like
yeah.
fortunate enough to always have the early access or the beta, whatever it is, I do feel it's just always that. For me, I do just treat it like a demo. Like I'm never gonna get to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm playing this, and if I don't enjoy it, I'm just never gonna play it. I'm always gonna play Football Manager. But it was always my, let's say pre-season. It was always my pre-season into the full season sort of thing. Yeah.
But remember a couple of years ago, though, when the beta came out and they had the issue with the supporter confidence and the board confidence, and it was dialed up far too high.
Yeah. But
You know,
see,
that's-
and
that
that
could all be
allows
ironed
us.
out.
Yeah, but that allows us, because remember the beta does have that link at the bottom where you can report stuff, and that allowed that 2 weeks again gave Football Manager. So it's not even just for us, for Football Manager themselves, it gave them a lot of information for that eventual release date, because not everyone had the early access. So we was effectively helping Football Manager as well, preparing for that release date, and there we go. And it's similar for FIFA now as well. Like, people get the early access, WWE get the early access, and it's just to get the feedback. How was it going? Where's the bugs? Because
That was going to be my point, though, is like, do we use it? I would say we as like content
Selfishly.
creators, right? We use it to bug test, like, because when it's mass testing, isn't it? We are looking for things that are not working the way that we expected it to do. The vast majority of users, because we are the 1%, right? The 99% of users are using it as, let's play the game now. They're not looking for bugs. They're looking for, I can play the game because the game's out. Like, so the argument there is incredibly valid of, yes, we can bug test, but I would say that we're 1% of that are looking for bugs.
I don't know,
Everyone else
you know.
is looking at
Like,
getting
obviously-
in the doors and trying it out.
like, obviously we'll never know the actual numbers, but if you do look on the actual website, there is quite a few people that aren't content creators that are also sending in their feedback. So I do think there's quite a few. I mean, some people do it. I don't know, man. I don't know. It just feels odd not to know that there's a...
If you're trying to convince me to play FM console, can I convince you that you don't need a beta?
I think that's impossible. I think that's impossible.
Stig, what's your thoughts?
It's the assurance thing. I mean, I'm taking this, like in my job, you give assurance that controls and things are in place, and therefore, if they haven't announced a beta, with everything else going on, where there's a lack, they are being transparent, but there's also a lot of hidden information.
Yeah.
Without the beta, it's almost confirming we don't have confidence at launch that you can have this for 2 weeks early because everything's going to work okay. And I think that's then fueling the fire, everyone worrying. And if they announced there was a beta, I think a lot of people would be like, oh, great, we're going to get a beta. But without the beta, I think it's just that people are getting a bit nervous about how good is this, how confident are they in the product. And it's that a lot of people test and go, okay, I'm going to buy it for now. Like console, we don't get beta. I asked Miles, can I be a tester for console? He went, have you got a standard issued PS5 which has got all the testing on it? I went, well, no. He went, well, no, you can't be a tester then. Because there's like really strict things they can do on the testing. And they are going to do that private test, aren't they? Where they're going to invite people to come along and test it. But without the beta, it almost sounds like they're not confident. But then everyone's going, oh, it's the same version, it's just a little bit different. So they're not, everyone's got used to, we got the beta. Oh, look, it's pretty much what we got last year, but it's a little bit different than the new stuff.
See, this is where...
This is brand new. This is
that's where it
everything's
starts
changed
to...
up.
It starts to lose me, right? Because I'm pretty sure as well, Simon, you would be like, well, Football Manager have released the game in the same way previously, so why change now? And then we could argue the same thing about the beta, right? The beta has always been part of the release as well, so why is everything else the same with the release but the beta? That would be sort of my question as well.
Because
Like,
they've already
everything's
delayed it a month.
yeah, but that should be more of
Because
a reason
don't
for a
forget,
beta, no? Like,
The
if you've delayed
beta
it, then...
only comes out on Well, they might be ready to release. They might need to make some, especially with licensing, and that could be one of the areas that's holding them back. We don't actually know why it's delayed. It's only, and the other thing is, it's only delayed 2 weeks. It's not a big delay. They can't do anything in 2 weeks. I said this on Twitter, right? For context, Assassin's Creed, I think it was the same day, and it was coming out in November.
Yeah,
So
I
the
remember
new
that.
Assassin's Creed
So long,
game.
yeah.
It's been delayed until February because
Yeah.
they have to rework parts of the game. So that's like 4 months. And they do nearly a yearly release on Assassin's Creed. You know, a bigger studio, probably a bigger game, almost certainly a bigger game. But it's like, okay, right, they have to delay until February just to like rework some house models because they use Chinese house models instead of Japanese house models or whatever they did. And like that's put them back 4 months. So whatever the delay is can't be anything major because otherwise they wouldn't have told us end of November. They wouldn't have announced the release date. They wouldn't have like. It would be more than 2 weeks. You can't do anything in 2 weeks. Like you can just do a couple of extra checks. I think it's more likely than anything. It's a license problem, and they're trying to get a license problem fixed before launched. They need time to get things okayed, probably from someone like the Premier League before they release it.
Like the J League,
It could be the new dates going forward as well. We've been that used to it being early November that maybe the new norm is it will be late November. As you say, if it ties with license, I know there was the issue with the J League in FM24. You know that the licensing agreement began on a certain date, and I think it was after the actual launch date, wasn't it? So there's a bit of an issue with those licenses. So maybe that's the thing. Move that back a couple of weeks. Make sure all those licenses are 100% locked down. Remember, there's a World Cup coming in 26. Let's speculate and say, is there something that might affect that as well? Potentially, we don't know.
I think again, the difference is with that sort of thing again is that it's the communication, right? Last year, Miles Blaine, he openly said licensing. Do you know what I mean? Like we knew that because of what
Yeah,
came
but they're
from
not
them.
legally allowed to. And the other thing is...
but they didn't say... They just said
last year they got stung because J-League wasn't there on launch and they'd advertised J-League. And they got complaints.
No, but I'm saying now, like, if license is a reason for delay, like, they don't have to say the specific reasons.
don't.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying this year, like, if it was, for an example, the reason why they delayed it, they don't have to say the exact reasons. Like, the Premier League hasn't given us the green light, blah, 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 blah. They could just say due to licensing, blah, 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 blah. I'm pretty sure they can do. That's But again, it's just the communication. It could be anything. Like, it could be anything. But I think that's not. I don't know if that's a good thing. Like for us, that's a good thing. Like us four here, like it could be anything. So we're like that kind of puts us at ease a little bit. But for other people, that might create actually more worry in their head. Like, oh, it could be anything now. So that the whole list is just running through their head.
If it was that bad, it wouldn't. If it was that, and everyone's like, why don't they? If it was that bad, why don't they delay it a year? And then people saying, oh no, because the licenses would expire. They've got a contractual obligation. But it's like, yeah, but they don't have a contractual. Like they could delay it until January. They've done that before. They did it with Football Manager on the Vita, which didn't come out till April, 1 week before the season ended, right? And then they didn't do a data update to it, which infuriated me because I was like, you've only released this and it's already out of date. 1 week before the end of the season. But we don't. So the thing is, if they push that date back, they haven't got time necessarily for the early access. And if it's a licensing reason, for example, they can't put it into our hands as an early access. So they're just sort of going on it as it being like, okay, right, we got to put it on this date, and we've got to release it to everyone because early access, don't forget, is also only on Steam. Yeah. So anyone on Game Pass doesn't get early access. Anyone on console doesn't get early access. Anyone on mobile doesn't get early access. So there's only one way to get early access, and it's on Steam, or maybe Epic as well.
And if you do want to purchase the game from Steam, use our discount link in the description below.
And to reassure, it wasn't FM21 during COVID, like the end of November anyway. It's not actually drastically outside the release window of recent games. So, it's not massively an issue if it's just a small thing of 2 weeks. I know it sounds...
Right. Now, Stig, it's been lovely having you on here, but common sense and logic is not welcome around this place. So it's been a shame. You had a lovely episode, but I'm afraid you're not on Patreon now. But no, I must admit, right, we will call it there. We'll call it there because we are almost about to get into logic and reason. It's been a fantastic episode. Genuinely enjoyed it. Stig, appreciate you being here. What we're going to do now is we are going to break off for Patreon, talk some more nonsense, in there.
Definitely
Arron,
no logic and reason.
definitely no logic and reason in Patreon.
the hook to
Arron,
it
let us know where people can find us on Patreon and what they can find, more importantly.
You can find some extra content, bonus content like what we're about to record right now over at patreon.com/the FM Show Pod. That's patreon.com/the FM Show Pod, where you can support us from as little as £3. We do have a little trial system going on as well, but I don't think you're going to need that. It's there if you need it, but I don't think you're going to need that. Head over to patreon.com/the FM Show Pod.
Exactly, yeah. We do have some element of beta access. In that sense, yeah. 7-day free trial, 7-day free trial, and then if you do like it, Si, I think you can
the button doesn't
upgrade
work
for a little
Licensing.
bit cheaper as well.
Yeah, you can. If you once you're signed up, I think they send you an email. I got a couple every now and again say 50% off your first month or whatever, and you'll get the blooper from earlier today where Arron was talking about boobs, and maybe the post show talk today. I've got a boob related story as well, perfect for the Patreon. So Tony is panicking for his career already.
Onlyfans.com/the FM Show Pod. Clearly, it's inevitable how we got here. Right, well, looking forward to that. Stig, let's plug you though instead, mate. Let's find where people can find your content, follow you on social media, all that kind of good stuff.
oh god, I got everything. We got a subreddit for anyone that wants to play console and jump in. We got a subreddit FM Console. I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, but I don't know how to set that up. I'm on TikTok, I'm on everything. But just drop me a message, come have a chat. I have so many people ask me random stuff. Just hit me up. And hopefully at one point I'll have a website going, but that's fmconsole.com if that comes out at some point.
And also, you're active in our Discord with the actual FM Console channel. Because, people asked about console, asked about mobile. We didn't have the channels at the time. They are there now. So if anyone's watched the episode, wants to talk more about console, come and join the Discord, which, of course, the links are in the description below. We've got all the social media handles as well. Come and follow us on, as you say, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, those usual things. Drop us an email if you want to talk to us with more longer correspondence. It's the fmshowpod@gmail.com. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stig, it's been a pleasure having you. Si, it's been wonderful. Arron, it's been a pleasure. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Stay tuned. See you all next week for another episode of the FM Show. See you in a bit. Bye now.
Toodles.